South Africa today, let's look at the national minimum wage, which is gazetted and promulgated by the South African Minister of Labor. So this national minimum wage, I did my homework just to confirm in terms of who is responsible of this minimum wage, who sits and decide what is the minimum amount to pay an employee in South Africa. And my findings was that there is three groups that are involved in this. And then the first group that is involved in this commission is the representatives from the government. The second group that is involved is the representatives from organized labor. Organized labor, we're talking about the trade unions. And then the third party, there's an independent group that comes in and join in, and then they negotiate this minimum wage. After they're done with that, they then take their recommendations and hand them over to Minister of Labor. Then the Minister of Labor will agree, sign it off, and then promulgate it with the date in terms of when it needs to be implemented. I've got a serious problem with this South African national minimum wage. And then my biggest problem is that people are being exploited in South Africa. And then I'll tell you a reason why. Look at this graph on top here. And then you tell me that these three groups of people that I've just told you, they sat down, discussed. I don't know if there's a bit of a dialogue, an argument, disagreement, in terms of what the national minimum wage should be. But in my understanding, this is not practical. In the economy where we're living, this is not practical. And I just don't understand that there's a minister of finance who is getting paid by the government who thinks that someone can live from a wage of 16 rand per hour. This is exploitation, guys, and not exploitations by the companies and the industries, but exploitations by these three groups. Because my biggest problem is with these three groups that sits down and think this is actually viable for someone to survive in South Africa. 16 rand in the world that we're living in today doesn't buy much. It doesn't buy much. So you want to tell me that someone is going to go and work for the whole hour, and then after then 1 hour, you expect them to live with 16 rand per hour. And these jobs that we're talking about, guys, we're talking about long hour jobs where you can't come back from this job and do other little bit of piece jobs to try and add into this money. We're talking about long hour jobs, physically demanding jobs. And then the government sits down and thinks that someone that actually carries, a general worker that carries bags of cement, it's fine. Just pay them 16 rand and then life goes on. I've got a serious problem, guys. I've got a very, very serious problem with this.